Hello all, I finally get to come at you with another branded deck profile. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this from me because some of you are subscribed to me because apparently I'm the branded guy now. So here it finally is. It took me a bit because there were some poor financial decisions I made with this deck that took a little bit to come in, but I finally have them. And as a bonus, I get to give you this deck profile as a deck that went X-1 at the previous event of my locals that I went to. So there's a slight little bonus for that, and let's just dump right in. I'll explain anything strange that looks like that whenever we get to it, but let's just jump right in. 3 Aliber should be standard. There's no reason whatsoever you should be playing less than 3. Please play 3 of those. The 1 Tragedy, the 1 Ad-lib. This is... I don't think any explanation is needed. Funny enough, I considered cutting this because it's coming up less and less, but it's just so good whenever you set up the Brandon Red to be able to do that, and then you get the Mirror Jade back. And then this does, remember, this lets you play around evenly if you're expecting your opponent to evenly you, especially games 2 and 3. Instead of going for the bigger board, you just set up the Brandon Red, and then they evenly you do your Brandon Red, ad-lib shenanigans, and then you get to keep disruption and you get follow up with it, and it's just so great. You can't cut it. It's just not worth the risk. I tried out 2 Fallen of Abaz, and the reason that I can get away with that, I don't recommend doing this normally, but the reason that I can get away with that is there is pretty much no Kashtira at my locals. There's one variant where it's like a Kashtira Scareclaw, but they're a lot heavier on the Scareclaws, so Kashtira really isn't a thing at my local, so I can get away with it. If you are at any event where Kashtira is going to be a thing, then 3 Albaz is mandatory. That is, you can't play less than 3. So this 2 Albaz here that I am playing is with the caveat of little to no Kashtira. If there is Kashtira, do play 3 Fallen of Albaz. As soon as Kashtira gets hit on the list, like we think that it is about to, if a list comes out soon, then I would kind of recommend playing 2 Albaz. You brick on it less. You still have the 2 that you need to play around with. I kind of liked it. I liked just having 2 of them. It worked out for me. But for now, if there's anything that you're going to that has a bunch of Kashtira, you have to run 3 Albaz. But if you can run 2, then it worked for me. I really liked it, and it was great. 2 Mercurier is, I'm pretty sure, well, I want to say that's standard, but I do see some people cutting this down to 1. I just think 2 is too good. Banishing this from your grave, or banishing it off of a fusion to be able to extend and keep going, and just the fact that it's a monster negate and its disruption from your opponent, it's just so good. Having the 2 worked out. Rimbrum's a good card. It's a good card. It just worked out that way. The 1 Albion, it's the standard shenanigans you do with that. 1 Kit, same thing. Extension can be a starter. It's just too handy not to have. 2 Cartesia, here's where the poor financial decisions rear their beautiful heads. 2 Cartesia, Cartesia is a 2 of now. You need 2 of them. Granganol is a really good card, and Cartesia is just great in general to help you do your plays. Only 1 Quem, more poor financial decisions rearing their heads. Quem is a 1 of. Early on, we saw some builds playing 2 or 3 of them. You do not need to do that. Quem, you have a bunch of ways to be able to get this out onto the field other than normal summoning it. Not to mention the fact that you don't want to rely on this being your normal summon because that's conflicting with Aliber being your main normal summon. Sometimes you have to normal summon Cartesia in order to be able to either extend or protect around your plays. Worst case scenario, you have to make Spriggan's Kit your normal summon in order to get to your Brandon Fusion. You just gotta do what you gotta do, and you have enough consistent ways to be able to get to Quem. It's 1 is all you need. Like, yes, Quem is a very good card, but like, it doesn't do. I'll just keep it simple in saying that, like, it does what it needs to, but not in a vacuum. Like, just sending something to the grave that is either Albaz or mentions it is not enough. You got to pair it with other stuff, and relying on that being your normal summon is not good. You would much rather normal summon Aliber and get to your Branded Fusion or Branded Loss so that you can play the game. So just play Quem as a 1 of. More one-ofs, just the one Lubellion and the one Saronir. Is pretty much every list is doing this right now. That's all you really need. And I do still play the Dragoons, so we do have the Dark Magician in the deck. A lot of people have let this go. I just think it's super great whenever it works out. Dragoon is tough for a lot of decks to deal with whenever they don't have a clean out to it. And then, like, my local specifically, there's a couple back row matchups sometimes. That's just a lot better than, you know, what does a Mirror J do against set 4 pass? In what good is a Rin Broom going to do you into set 4 pass? Dragoon is just so much better, not being able to be targeted and having the negation to be able to play through that. So it's not to mention the burn and helping you go for a game with both the burn and its attack. It's just super good, and it's been working out for me. I did make space for some hand traps because this is more so a hand trap format instead of a power spell or trap format. So we do have the 3 Droll, the 2 Ash, and the 1 Nib. The reason I did these is, spoiler alert, we're playing Crossout Designator, is one of those. But Droll is just the hand trap of the format. If you can only play one hand trap this format, play Droll, because Pearly, super heavy, you know, all the other good stuff, you know. Ash is mainly for the mirror. There's a couple other branded in my local as well, so I wanted it for that. But it's also a cross-out target. And I played the 1 Nib as, like, I only really had the space for the one. I could have done 3 Ash instead, but I did this as an alternative light target. If I still want to go into Albion, and I, for example, happen to have drawn the Lubellium rather than it being in my deck to be able to send off a Branded Fusion. So Nib is twofold. It's the light target, and if I happen to draw it and I just sack somebody with it who plays in a Nib, then, you know, might as well, and why not? That is all it for the monsters. Hopefully I explained everything that I did well enough. And let's just get right back into the... Oh shoot, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Adam not fumble his cards while doing a deck profile challenge impossible. Anyway, onto the spells. No explanation needed. You should be playing all of these. You should absolutely be playing one of these. I don't think anybody's been cutting this, but, like, there's no reason for you not to play this. People have been cutting the Branded White. I still play it, though, because it's a really good extender if you get stopped and you just have the hand for it. Plus, there are plays where you can just, like, if you already had the Branded Fusion, you can set up, you know, send Retribution to the grave, and then also send Branded White to the grave, and you can keep extending that way. It's just really, really good. I do consider cutting it sometimes, but it's just a really neat tool to be able to keep going and to make just more creative and better boards whenever you were able to do it. Plus, with the amount of stuff you're able to send to the grave with Quem, like, you might as well if you can make the space for it. It's been working out for me, and I really like it. With anything in this deck, I'm going to play around with it and just see what I like more so than the others, but I have been liking Branded White, so I kept it in. Fusion deployment should not be, you know, any surprise whatsoever. I said we were playing Crossout earlier, so here's the Crossout. Here's the Call by the Grave as well. You kind of have to play this in Branded if you want to play the game, because Ash just ruins your day and makes your disappointment immeasurable. And then I am not main decking the Gimmick Puppet or the Branded Expulsion. We're just playing the Retribution. We are citing that. It's you can main deck the Gimmick Puppet if you want, but that's really reliant on you winning the die roll. The Gimmick Puppet just does nothing for you if you are going second because you lost the die roll. I get it if you win the die roll and you're able to resolve the Gimmick Puppet, you just kind of win the game on the spot, and you usually win the match as well. But there's just so many better things you could do. Make room for the cross-outs so that you can play the game if your opponent has the Ash. Make room for the hand traps, that way you can make sure your opponent doesn't play the game. Just so many better things that I think you could be doing. You could high roll it and try and go for it if you want to. The main deck Gimmick Puppet has been working for a lot of people, but I don't see a need. And also, you'll notice that I cut the Allures of Darkness. I really wanted to keep those in, because Allure, for the most part, especially if you just have the space for your deck in it and you build it right, is really just pot of greed for the deck. And I wanted it so bad, but it's for the same reason of if you lose the die roll and you're going second, Allure doesn't do anything for you as much going second as a hand trap that could end your opponent's turn does. Like, I would rather Droll and my opponent and have it end their turn, than have a Lure of Darkness and be able to draw into something that may not be able to break their board. So it's just kind of it's a tough call decision. You want to be able to do everything, but it just doesn't work out that way all the time sometimes, unfortunately. But that is the main deck, 40 cards. You should try your absolute best to keep this deck down to 40, even if you are playing a Lure, but that is what I am playing in the main. On to the extra. 2 Albion is standard for that. 1 Lubellium, no surprise there. I am playing Sanctifier. I really haven't used this. It's mainly just here as another easy way to pull off the Gimmick Puppet thing. I'm considering whether or not I even need it. I'm gonna keep it in because it does make doing the Gimmick Puppet really easy, especially if you aren't able to get to the Expulsion. This is an alternative option to do that. And then in niche situations, this comes up as, you know, something else you could send off Mirror Jade and then put back later if you need it, or it can come back and clear zones with its other effect is almost never going to come up, but it's really funny if that does end up coming up for you. But it's theoretically too good to not play it, even though it doesn't come up as much as everything else in your extra deck. But I don't know, always with anything here, always subject words and sentences, subject to change is what I'm trying to say. But for now it is in, and you know, it could come up, so I'm going to keep it in. The 2 Mirror Jade is, yeah, that's no explanation needed. And here's where we really start to get into the poor financial decisions section, because there's going to be a lot of shiny here. I am still playing the Albalanitis. I know a lot of people have cut this, but 1, I have a Starlight of it, so might as well. 2, if you end up sending it, you get the guaranteed Brand Infusion on the Crackback. 3, theoretically being able to put all your stuff back that has been banished or is in the grave, because you get to fuse it back with Lubellium, and just, it's a really good grind game tool. So it's handy for stuff like grindy matchups like the Mirror or back row or whatever other weird situation you find yourself in. You know, this weird stuff happens at my locals. You never know what you're going to run into. So the combination of me having a Starlight of this, so I might as well play it, along with the potential to get into a grind game, is what makes me keep this in the deck. And I'm a fan of it. I feel safer having it as an option in my extra deck. Only the 1 Granganol. I know people are playing 2 of this. It helps you resolve the Gimmick Puppet a lot easier, but 1, I only have 1 Starlight, and my wallet is hurting enough, so I don't feel like buying a second one, so that I have matching rarities of this. But 2, I really don't think it's as necessary, because yes, people disrupt this more so when they think you're going to get Gimmick Puppet locked, but at the very least at my locals, and this could be elsewhere, people are just going to plan to Ash the Brand Infusion and your turn that way if they can do that, rather than trying to disrupt the Granganol. Or if nothing else, they're gonna hold their disruption for something else, like an alternative fuse, if you're able to get into that. So I've really only needed the 1 so far. I really haven't missed the second one. So again, subject to change, but that's probably going to be a less likely change for me, because my OCD and my sanity would make me have to buy another Starlight of this, and I really don't want to do that, because I'm already going to have to buy the Ulti Brand Infusions whenever they come out. But moving on, we do play the Luluwaleth. This, more poor financial decisions, you know, rearing their heads. It's Luluwaleth that it gets you into, you almost never hard make this. There's no reason to. Well, almost no reason to, unless you just want to be funny and sack somebody in a hilarious way. But this is just to send off a Granganol sometimes, and you can and then you can summon Quem. Like this along with other things that we're playing are the reason that you really only need the 1 Quem if you don't get into it earlier on, because it's just so easy to get to. Guardian Chimera, yes, it's a CR. I got a CR of this as well. You know, my wallet is hurting. It's Guardian Chimera, no explanation needed. Just the 1 Rinbrum. I played 2 of this sometimes whenever there was more Kashtira at my local, but I think just the 1 is all you need. Masquerade in case time comes up, or if you just want to be funny and put it on your combo board earlier on and make your opponent pay an arm and a leg in order to try and break your board. The Quiritus, doing this instead of the Proscenium, it helps to clear stuff, and then, it's just funny guy being able to summon Albaz if he dies by effect. Titanclad, I am doing this instead of the Sprint for 2 reasons. One, because it gets Quem from the deck. That's one of the ways, in addition to Lula Wallet, that you can summon Quem from the deck easier if you don't get into it initially. And 2, it gets big, and that helps to out problematic things, such as if you get into a grind match with Pearly, and Noir is being a little bitch and hard to out. So Titanclad helps to beat over a Noir that gets big. Because Konami thought it was fun to design a card that says, by the way, in one card it's unaffected, can spin a card, can attach a card, and can also get big. I want Titanclad in my extra deck for that exact reason. And then I spoiled earlier that I'm playing the Dragoon. Yes, I know, heresy in an extra deck full of Starlights when Dragoon has a Starlight. How dare I not do it? I'm working on it. My wallet's hurting enough, but I'm working on it. I just trust. Just trust me. And then I guess I can show you the side deck. The side deck portion is always just make of your own side deck what you will based on your local or whatever event you're going to. It's just make it how you want. Me personally, I am playing the Kaijus because this is a Kaiju format, and get them if you can. I'm playing the Dark Kaiju because you do not need to be playing Santa Claus if your deck's name is not Pearly. There is no reason you need to do that because, yes, it functions pretty much the same way, but it is an expensive card solely because it helps Pearly make Zeus easier. Play Kaijus if your deck is not named Pearly. There is no reason for you to play Santa Claus. And the reason I'm doing this one instead of something like Gamma Seal is because this is the weakest Kaiju that is either a light or a dark, so it's an easier target to fuse off with Albaz if that's one of the ways that you can get rid of it. And it just helps you do that. Playing 3 Bestials, the 1 Druce Worm, and the 2 Magnemets. This is for stuff like mirror matches into Branded. There's some Math Mech that shows up at my locals sometimes. There's the occasional Sword Soul, and if this hurts their hand with the if they're opening plays in Ashina, that can really help. Plus, just siding these in for a little bit more consistency to be able to for example, Branded Fusion, dump Mercurier, and then you banish it off a Bestial. You can get rolling with that. You can search the Saronir in the end phase, and then you can pitch it off of something so that you can send a Branded Spell Trap to be able to do that. There's just a couple of utility things that you can do this, which is why I decided to do it. Cosmic is the one that I chose to be spell and trap removal because a couple of people in my local think that it's funny to flip anti-spell on you, and I am tired of my disappointment being immeasurable and my day ruined because of that dog shit card that should have been banned along with Imperial Order. 2D barrier, both to use against other monotype decks that aren't links, and as a cross-out target for games 2 and 3 because I would like to play the game. 2 Old Man, say no because that's the only space I had left in the deck after putting in the Gimmick Puppet lock, because we are just funny people and doing funny things. That is all I got for you with the deck. I hope I explained all of my strange choices well enough, but that is why I'm playing what I'm playing, and I'm just happy to have finally gotten the updated version for you, and I think that is all I've got for you. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good rest of the day.